All right, hey everyone, welcome back for another Treats for the Beast. I'm sorry I missed last week. Um, it was just a chaotic week between several appointments that we had to go out for. I had a meeting for an event this week on the Monday, and just trying to cram in as much work and get things done by the end of the week with my Comics.1 work and everything else as well. It was really hectic, and I did not get a chance to record a newsletter, so I am sorry about that. But, oh, excuse me, it has been a really good week because I got the 3D model for the Snuffles the Indomitable statue that I mentioned in a previous newsletter. I got it made. I commissioned it and he did it like overnight. Here it is. I'm really happy with it. It looks really cool. One of my friends has done a test print of it. Here that is. And I will, send some photos once he's assembled it and glued it all together and removed all the support and all that sort of stuff. But in other good news for that, I'm waiting for some quotes for resin printing to get a couple of resin ones made for Supernova to see how they go. But also I'll be, really polishing one of those up, getting it nice and fine and smooth, and probably casting that in silicon so I can do flexible resin poured ones, to be similar to a Sofubi without having to have like a hot setup, because you need heat and everything for melting the vinyl for Sofubi, which I'm not really ready for right now. Don't have the space for that kind of thing. But yeah, as soon as I get those quotes back, I'll be starting to make some of these things and some lizard wizards and stuff like that. But also, I have a speaking gig this week where I'll be presenting as a panelist and doing Q&A and stuff about my practice and my work as a working artist at a careers event that's being put on by Headspace here in Ballarat, at TBH Studio. So that's happening on Thursday, and it's a paid gig. So what is really rad about that is it pays enough for me to get a 3D printer of my very own. I will be getting an FDM printer to start with, because that's really versatile. I can use that for a lot of stuff, and it's a bit cheaper. And while I could technically afford a resin printer with the pay that I'm getting, it would be a fairly small print bed. And if I'm going to get a resin printer, which I can't have in this space at the moment, I don't have the ventilation and, just the space for a resin setup, and with the curing chamber and cleaning chamber and all that sort of stuff, I just don't have what I need to do to have that set up in this rental. So I'm going to go with an FDM printer because I can just put that, away in the corner here somewhere, or here somewhere, I'll figure that out. And I can still do statuettes and stuff with a resin printer, FDM printer, once I get the settings dialed in fine enough. Do I have any FDM printed stuff around here? No, not really. Don't have any of the stuff with the fine-tuned settings that I could show you. But, FDM printers have come a really long way recently and can do a lot of really fine work. So I could still FDM print one, sand that down, cast that if I wanted to, use it for making parts for the Gaslands things that I want to make and sell, bits and pieces for my setup, all kinds of stuff, honestly. And so stay tuned for that, because I'm going to be 3D modeling a lot of stuff in upcoming times. And I'll be making and prototyping a lot of stuff with the FDM printer. And thankfully, this is not a toy store, has a resin printer that they've said I can come in and use as long as I supply my own resin. So I will buy a bottle of resin soon to try that, and see how I go. So I'm really excited about that. What else has been going on? Got a new watch, nothing fancy, just got it online. It was cheap, but I'm trying to get off my phone more, so if I don't have to look at my phone to check the time, that keeps me off my phone a bit more. I'm trimming stuff for the next convention. These are all handouts to go in my adventure, The Hunger of First Peak. And This is the other handout that goes with it. No, it's the same handout. I don't think I've trimmed the other one then yet. I've only trimmed all this design, but there are two handouts that go with it. I'm in the slow process of laminating stickers so they can be cut. I've got another pile about this thick that I've already done, but this is what I've got left out of everything that I've printed so far. Then I still have like another, I think about 300 sheets of holographic to print yet. But first things first with that, I have to apply a little bit of white sticker paper to the corners of that for the registration marks to be printed on so that it won't be all reflective and hard to read for the cutting machine. So I'm going to try that out shortly. Let's see how that goes. And yeah, that's where we're at. What else is happening? What else is happening? I've fully redone my office. So, you know, the desk used to be over here where the paper rack and this set of shelving is now. But that desk is now over here, and it's got my printer and my guillotine and my cutting machine on it. So I'm sequestered in this nice cozy little space here. Went to a cool comic shop, not a comic shop, an antique shop the other day. Now, where did I put those books? Here. And I picked up these retro Valiant comics while I was there. I haven't read them yet, but I grew up reading this era of Valiant, so I thought I'd pick a couple of those up to have a look at. And then we went to another secondhand bookshop, and I picked up these art books. So, I already know a lot of the stuff that's going to be in this, but it just looked fun, and I've heard good things about the Christopher Hart books. And this Fantasy Artist Guide, which also has a CD in it that I have to, see what's on there and actually have a play around with it. Shoot. Oh yeah, the new jam is happening, the new sketch card jam, and it is retro robots, which I'm really excited about. Here's the graphic for that. And yes, I am going to 3D model that robot and make that into an art toy as well. I'm currently in the process of packing up single sketch cards for some of the participants that don't have any cards and posting those out. There's 5 that have gone out so far. So there's 5 remaining. So for any Australian artists who want to join in, there are 5 cards remaining as of today, the 23rd of March, for this jam. But you can buy a deck of cards from my Etsy if you want to use my card design, which is this one. And they've got a black core, so your paints and stuff don't leak through to the back, and a space for your signature and everything on the back, as you can see here. And yeah, you can buy those in decks of 10 on my Etsy store, but also you can just use any paper as long as you cut it to the correct size first, so that you're drawing to the same size as everybody else. So that's fun and exciting. I'm really looking forward to that. We've got 16 signups so far, not including me, and it's not even April yet, so that's cool. I'm excited for that. I started the signups, you know, like a week and a bit early so that I've got time to post out all the cards to people and stuff like that that want to join in, so they're not hanging and waiting half the month for the cards to arrive because they're going by snail mail. So they get them on time. What else is new? Not a lot. Oh yeah, some rough news in the comics industry. Some of you might have already seen, but Global Comics has put a super pro AI dude, tech bro guy, in charge as CEO now. And they are taking money from a company that is super heavy on AI that just bought, shoot, what was the name of it? Anchor, I think, Anchor, which is an AI translation tool and stuff like that that does just automatically writes over your own work with localization that I'm sure is 100% accurate. So they are feeding your work into the AI. And the company that owns Inker, the actual overall company, Point71 or something like that, apparently, according to the articles that I've seen, is a company that invests heavily in developing AI weapons, drones and stuff like that. So I was very uncomfortable with that. And I immediately nuked my account on Global Comics. So none of my comics are available on Global Comics anymore. You can only get them on Comics.one, my Etsy store, Ko-fi shop, and DriveThru Comics. That's the only places that you can get those. This month's Snail Mail Club, as you know, has got the Mothman print and my Merc, my Eyeball Monster guy sticker, and a comic book recommendation. And obviously for the sketch card tier, you get a sketch card. So if you haven't yet, consider going and signing up to that because that's a huge help. What else? What else is going on? I have to go through my script for Snuffles the Indomitable before the beginning because Devin had a couple of notes about some changes on the page versus the script. So I have to check that so I can sign off on those couple of pages so that Lewis can get started on the actual pencils. So we're just about to start actual pencils on that, which is super duper exciting. I went to the Ballarat Arts Foundation program launch the other day and found out that they've got a mentorship program, which I'm thinking about applying for next month as a mentee, not a mentor, to really just learn more and get the most out of what I'm doing here in Ballarat with my art. And of course, I am elbow deep getting ready for Supernova next month. So if you are going to be in Melbourne the 18th, 19th of April, come along to Melbourne Supernova and say hi. I'll be there. I'll have my comics, I'll have my D&D stuff, I'll have my art, all of the above. And ideally, I'll have a few of my toys there for you to check out, my art toys. Should have some Lizard Wizards and some Snuffles, maybe a few Brian the Brain Beasts. We'll see. We'll see how I go with getting all that ready. But yeah, I'm excited to hopefully have some of those ready for Supernova. But I think that's everything for now. What have I been reading this week? I was catching up on Paper Girls. I read volume 2. Haven't read volume 3 yet, but I'm really enjoying it. Catching up on Hellboy, really enjoying that. I've read most of it now, I think, but there's still a lot more. I'm going to have lost track of where I'm at because I was reading it on Global Comics until that announcement. So now I'm not sure where I'm up to. I've been reading some more Usagi Yojimbo. It's really good. Loving it. Stan Sakai's art is really fun, and I'm definitely going to be referring back to that a lot as I'm trying to figure out my own stylization for Snuffles for the ongoing comic, which I really need to keep doing more studies and practice of. I might do some of those today. And what else was I reading? Oh, Witch Hat Atelier, the latest volume of that. Really good. Super, super good. And I cannot wait for the anime to launch. And I'm really, really looking forward to Dorohedoro Season 2 coming out this month sometime as well. So those are 2 anime that I have really high up on my watch list this year, as well as the new Dragon Ball Super Beerus, which I'm looking forward to checking out, but more excitingly, because it is the sequel, I am looking forward to Dragon Ball Super Galactic Patrol. I am so excited for that. Cannot wait to watch that. And looking forward to seeing what other Dragon Ball stuff is coming out this year. And I can't remember if it's coming out this year. I have to check. But Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans Erder Hunt is supposed to be coming out this year sometime. I got to check where we're at with that. And I think Hathaway's Flash is coming out this year sometime. Hathaway's Flash 2, that is coming out this year sometime. So it's a good year for Gundam fans as well. I'm going to start doing some Gundam stickers sometime soon, I think. Oh, I'm in a stamp rally for Supernova. I'm in a Dimension 20 Fantasy High freshman year stamp rally. I got chosen to do Gorgug, so I've done Gorgug. So come along at Supernova and pick up what you need to pick up for that. And yeah, it's going to be really fun. My first stamp rally ever, so I'm really looking forward to that. I think that's everything for now. Stay tuned. I'll keep you posted when I've got that 3D printer. And until then, I'll see you next week. Bye.